You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast, where we are going to be talking about England in the West Indies. A reminder that we're on Twitter and Instagram at the Cricket Pod. You can go to Patreon and get a load of exclusive stuff, patreon.com/the Cricket Pod. And our sponsor is seriouscricket.co.uk for all of your cricket equipment needs. Use the code TCP22 for 10% off. Max, England are in the West Indies. They are playing 3 test series in the West Indies. They don't have Broad and Andersons.
That's a lot of tests.
A 3 test series? That's the normal test.
A 3 test series. I thought you said 3 test series. I was like, wow, back to back.
Oh, right.
15 tests.
Yeah, 15 tests. They've decided now that they've binned Broad and Anderson, they should look for a new home. Where I don't know, that's a bad analogy. Anyway, they're there. They've been playing a warm-up game. The test series starts on the 8th of March, my birthday. Hey, if you're listening, actually, head over to patreon.com/the Cricket Pod and sign up as a patron to celebrate my birthday.
You know,
that
the
would
best
be
thing
good.
about that is, Jack, we can use that again in a few days for my birthday.
It's birthday season. It's birthday season. Max and I, we can't afford any presents because we spend all of our time doing podcasts and not enough time looking for better jobs or whatever. Max, there's a serious point here, isn't there? That England are playing the West Indies.
They are.
What's happened in the warm up game, and where are we expecting the series to go? What are the talking points?
It was a tale.
It's not that serious a point, I will say. I said a serious point,
but there is some cricket going on, so we should talk about it. And it's quite important for England to turn things around and try and get a bit of confidence back after getting absolutely slammed in Australia. So I think it's big for them. The warm-up game against the President's 11 was basically good for batting and bad for bowling, I'd say. England's batters all got a bit of a go and all got a few runs. Johnny Bairstow scored 100, so he's looking set for when he enters the side again. But the guys all came in. Alex Lee scored a 60. Wokes and Folkes both got unbeaten 40s in the second innings. A few other 50s as well. So the batsmen will feel like they've got a bit of touch. Unfortunately, on the bowling side, there were a few issues. Stokes has obviously still got fitness issues after the Ashes, but he did manage to bowl a few overs in the second innings and took a couple of wickets. So he may yet play some part with the ball in the first test, but the more worrying things for England were Mark Wood being unable to bowl for a while after undergoing precautionary blood tests. I think they came out fine, so he may be all right, but whether that's enough for Tuesday, we will see.
Blood tests?
Yeah, he wasn't very well, but I'm not sure why. Maybe just, I don't know. It's just one of those 24-hour things. Who knows? And Ollie Robinson was having back spasms, so he didn't bowl in the second innings. So fortunately, England have got 2 evergreen, highly experienced bowlers to fall. So England's 2 frontline bowlers. Questions about their fitness. Possibly no Stokes to bowl as well. So England's omission of Broad and Anderson, which dominated the build-up for the last few weeks, has become a little more poignant than it might have otherwise been.
Yeah, a mixed bag overall, you'd say. There were some quite interesting things that did come out of it. One, England did bat okay in the series, or in the warm-up game against a team of non-test quality bowlers, which is encouraging.
That's better than they normally manage.
The top 4 all managed 50, and Bairstow got 100 in the first innings. Dan Lawrence back in the side, he picked up 83.
And a couple of wickets.
Yeah, that's good. Then with the ball, Jack Leach took some wickets. Mm-hmm. Will he play? Who knows? Is Jack Leach even the main spinner for England anymore? We don't know that either. He picked up four for 62 from his 28 overs. There are a few grounds in the West Indies where, to be fair, it does spin a little bit. We've seen Rakeem Cornwall have some success.
And also, it can be sort of also's in one sentence or 3 words. It can be docile at times, can't it? You can get pitches that don't do a lot, so it's useful to have a spinner for those as well. Equally, there can be pitches where it does absolutely everything. You just don't really know, do you?
Obviously, I'm not spending my life watching England v Cricket West Indies 11, but Root and Lawrence picked up 3 wickets between them. So 7 of the wickets fell to spin, which is pretty decent from their point of view. Second innings, nobody did anything with the bat, but they let Ben Foakes have a go. He got 43. Are you happy to see him back in the side, Max?
Yeah, for sure. He had a bit of a tough gig, didn't he, as backup wicketkeeper, and then when he was just about to get his second chance, he slipped in the change room floor and tore his hamstring or groin or whatever it was. So bad luck for him. Nice for him to be back in the side, and he'll be hoping that England play some spinners so he can show what he is really all about with the gloves, because that will be you'll see a marked step up in quality with the glove work when Ben Foakes is in town. That's for sure.
In the final innings of the match, so the 4th innings, as we normally call it in cricket, England actually did nearly bowl themselves to a kind of unlikely victory here. They got the West Indies 7 down. Jack Leach picking up another 2 wickets. Woakes getting an overseas wicket. Overton picking up 2. And Ben Stokes, who we've been told or would not bowl in the Test series, came on for a little spell, bowled 5 overs, picked up 2 wickets himself. So there's some encouraging signs there from a Stokes point of view. He bowled 1 really good ball. I did see, this is the only clip of the match I've seen. 1 really good ball which squares up somebody. Like takes Shane Dowrich, I think, and clips the off stump.
They had some actual batters in the side, this President's 11. You know, Shane Dowrich, Salazano was in there as well. There are a few people that you've actually heard of. So,
was it who's the bloke who got the 100? Reifer.
Yeah,
Raymond Reifer, which is good for him. So that's the warm up game done. In terms of talking points from the series, Max, what are you expecting to see from both teams?
Well, from England's point of view, it's going to be about. Well, originally I would have said it was going to be about the batting and whether we can actually put some runs on the board, but it could now also be about who bowls. So it's become a bit more interesting than it might otherwise have been. Although, let's be honest, I'll probably just play Craig Overton, and it won't be that interesting at all. So I think it'll be more the batting. The fact that Dan Lawrence played and Ollie Pope was left out of that warm-up game obviously tells us who's going to be in that middle order. I think we suspected it was going to be Dan Lawrence, so that's pretty much confirmation of that point. So chance for him to come back and get some runs. But yeah, I mean, looking at England, looking at Alex Lees, that'll be another thing. It's all about the top order for me for England. And then from the West Indies point of view, there are a few points of intrigue in selection. Obviously, their last test was against Sri Lanka, but it was in Sri Lanka. So, in terms of guessing what happens here, it's pretty unhelpful. There's an entirely different ball game out there, opening the batting against old Lemon Land, Lasithan Buldenia. But he took some tap, didn't he? We'll get onto that later. But they from that squad, there's no Shai Hope, so he's, I assume, finally finished dining out of his twin hundreds at Headingley 5 years ago. He's been nibbling the fat off that bone for a good few years, but his average of 25 seems to have finally caught up with him. Although might be good enough for the England side, who knows? And no Roston Chase, the England destroyer. So there's a few new faces, but it's not a young side, the West Indies side, is it? It's a fresh one, but it's not a young one. So there's again, it'll be sort of intrigue to see how they fare. I mean, I was looking at the top order for West Indies, and basically Campbell, Blackwood, Bonner, and Brooks have got as many Test caps as Brathwaite. And Blackwood's got 54 of those, so it's pretty inexperienced batting lineup. So that could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah, It's if there's one team in the world that are less convincing with the bat than England, it's the West Indies. So this could be it could be a really weird series. Although England have helped them out, I think, by picking a bunch of bowlers who might not be very good or are injured. I'm looking forward to seeing the West Indies bowling attack.
Yes.
I want to see. It was quite a lot of fun watching Shannon Gabriel and Kemar Roach terrorise England
Gabriel's injured, sadly, so we won't
so it will be Jaden Seals will be the replacement, who is well, not the replacement, but you know, he looked so good last year in the West Indies. And I think he'll have probably a little bit too much for some of the England team. So it'll be.
Years old, so that's
he's a young boy.
Yeah,
he's a youngster.
That
will be the thing to look forward to. Mm-hmm. I reckon that West Indies bowling side. Max, if you're going to make a prediction, let's do some predictions here.
Yeah.
What would you say will happen in this series?
So I'm thinking. I think England will take it 2-1. I think they should still. I think they'll have enough, especially if Wood and Robinson are fit in terms of the ball, and I think the batting will probably just about get them over the line. But there will be a game where West Indies put in a performance and knock England over for not very many runs. I think that is. I wouldn't say guaranteed, but a highly likely scenario. And to be honest, one that we always enjoy seeing. It's an England away series without watching England get bowled out for 80. So that's where I'm going to put my money in terms of the series. Runs wise, I've got a feeling Bairstow's gonna kick on from his 100 and just old ball punishment. I think he's just gonna come in and hit the softball around. It's a no from Jack. We'll see. And it's got to be top wickets for me. It's got to be Surrey legend Kemar Roach.
Yeah, right. So if I was going to make some predictions, I think that England will lose the series 2-1. I don't think they are very good, and I think some of the decisions they have made them worse. And I think the injuries that they're carrying, or
that's
blood-based issues that they're carrying.
That is true. I mean, the 2-1 I've put is dependent on Wood and Robinson being able to play 2 of those games. But.
Yeah, even if they did, I'd be slightly suspicious of this England team. I think there's a problem with England here, and the narrative that's building around some of the players already. And I'm thinking particularly Bairstow here. One swallow does not make a summer. One good innings in 3 years does not make you a good player.
Jack is back, and he's had his fallow period.
What a fallow period it was
to recover for 3 years, and now the lineup is dreadful. But Bairstow,
so I'm not
going to cement his place in the team.
I'm not convinced
for the
by
next 5 years.
I also don't think they can continue to rely on Daddy Root to bail them out. I think this series probably matches up pretty badly for Root. I mean, he'll still be England's best player, probably score all of the runs.
Yeah.
But there's no supposedly elite spinner that he can milk for hundreds and hundreds of runs, is there? Like that's where Root thrives, and I'm not sure that he'll get that opportunity too often in this series.
You reckon there's always a quick ball jagging back with his name on it?
Well, there's a Duke's ball. Some of the I reckon 2 of the 3 pitches will be pretty difficult to bat on.
Yeah.
And a really decent home bowling attack. So I think that will be trouble for them. Mm-hmm. And I just don't trust this England bowling lineup to take the wickets. Even though I genuinely think England have got. If they were clever, they could have picked a team that would beat this West Indies side. I think their batters are better than the West Indian counterpart. I think their best bowlers are better than the West Indian counterparts. But I don't think they'll manufacture a situation where they get that on the field. I think there'll be bowlers we've never heard of that aren't up to the job. And I mean, like Dan Lawrence so I'm suspicious of Bairstow. Zach Crawley looked good in Australia. He looked better than he did previously. Maybe he solved some things. Maybe he just had that 1 in 10 innings that encourages us to buy into the Zach Crawley thing. We don't know, do we? We don't know.
Carrot.
What exactly has Dan Lawrence done that means he is now better than he was when we decided he wasn't good enough in the summer?
Not played.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah. Who's the replacement for him? Ollie Pope. And what's he done since South Africa in 2019, 2020? He's played not very well.
That's it.
Alex Lees.
Switch them around. Switch around the ones that
we don't know. We don't know anything about Alex Lees. He could be terrible. There's a lot of questions. I mean, you can say the same for the West Indies side, but it could be. I think it'll be a really fun series.
I think so. It's in the balance. Yeah.
Test cricket tends to be really good when both teams are capable of bowling the other side out, or are capable of taking 20 wickets in the series. Or actually sometimes when neither side is capable of doing that, you get quite close, high-scoring matches. That tends when one side is able to do it and the other side can't, like we saw in the Ashes, then it's rubbish. The spectacle is terrible. I think here the spectacle will be good. I'm just not convinced that the quality will be high. This is going to be like one of those League One matches between two teams that have huge structural flaws, but have maybe spent a lot of money on an attacking midfielder each who's just spraying the ball around and being sexy. So that's England v West Indies. What did I say? 2-1 to West Indies.
Yeah.
Top run scorer, I think it probably still will be Root. Top wicket taker. I'm inclined to agree with you and say Kemar Roach, but it could be Jaden Seals as well.
Yeah.
So gonna enjoy it. It's the best time for Test cricket, isn't it? It's the one series
in terms of the time zones in the day.
Yeah. It's the one series to really look forward to, because 2:00 is when it starts. So you put it on in the background at work for a couple of hours. It's it's lunch rather. Then you've got the afternoon and evening session, which takes you through to 10:00. You can have a couple of beers, but it doesn't go on too late. You can have a couple of beers, put your beers away, have a good night's sleep. It's all right. That's the end of part 2, I think, Max, unless you have anything else you'd like to talk about.
No, all good.
Cool. Well, we'll be back in part 3 with India in India. Playing Sri Lanka, and a little bit of Women's World Cup.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.